polished out the bevel. I took out about 95% of the vertical lines in the final bevel. I like a little bit there, just makes it look handmade. I've sharpened it on my Smith sharpening system and took it out to the buffing wheel and buffed up the blade a little bit, so I guess you can see that it's got a nice reflection. So let's see how sharp it is. Let's see, there you go. And you can see, I'll have to grow the hair back there on my arms again. So it's pretty good. Let's check it in a little paper. It's okay. It looks like that had some glue in it. There we go. So okay, it looks like I just have to make a sheath and etch this knife, and as you can see, it will be yours. Have a great day. See you guys. So I'm going to be etching the knife with my Shagman Knifer logo today, or Beardman knives in English, and it's fairly easy to do. Should always practice safety. I've got a 12 volt power supply here that's going to provide 12 volts of power to a piece of metal, a drill bit in this case, an old drill bit. And find something that's not going to rust. And I've got a saltwater solution that I've mixed up. This is very common. You can find saltwater etching on YouTube for many different types of crafts and such concerning metals, and also you can do your own research there. And you know, again, do this at your own risk. I'm not advocating or showing you what I think is the safest way to do it, but I ultimately do feel that it's safe for me. So with that being said, I want to do a scrap piece of metal first. I've already practiced on a piece of metal, and I think I've got that here. I don't know how well that'll come in, but since today is etching day, I want to do that again. So in addition to my gloves, low voltage power supply, sandpaper, and sandpaper will be the same sandpaper that I put my final shine on my knife. And then you can see these. This is my logo. This is just a print logo, but I've created stencils using a Brother 700 label printer and PT 700. There we go. And I will be cutting out that and placing it on my knife later. I will tell you, if you order the PT 700 to do any knives or metal engraving, be very careful on stencil tape you ordered, because I first ordered ST 141 and I'm supposed to use 151 with the PT 700. So it's a thinner tape, so I had to end up cutting open a right size cartridge, taking the regular printing tape out of it and putting the stencil tape in it, and it kind of tracked, but I got many images, so I'm good to go. So if you do go with this type of etching, make sure you order the right tape. Brother's a little confusing about that online. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take a scrap piece of metal from my knife that I built, and I'm going to clean it up. It won't be as polished as my knife, so the results may vary just a little bit as far as the the edge, but I want to make sure that I can get a good clean edge. So I'm going to come to the surface here so that you can see that now. Ready to actually etch the knife now. We've done the 2 logo samples on a same steel that I'm using to make the knives with. It's a high carbon steel. Those logos have come out really well. So I have some good confidence that everything will come out well on my knife now. Know my touch times as far as how long I want to keep it on the knife. So at this point now I'm just going to make my cloth that I'm going to fit on my electrode. Negative connector on my 12-volt battery charger. Take some of this back a little bit just to make sure I've got a good connection. Okay. So that's tight, and I've got positive and a negative. So at this point I want to get out my knife, and I'm going to spray it with a little Windex to get any wax or oil back off of it. At this time it's very sharp, so I'm being quite careful with it. Gonna clean it down. So I'm going to get out my logos. Masked off, and now it is time to make it happen. So I'm going to try to make this as flat as possible, and here goes the solution in the salt water, and we're going to start it's starting to sizzle. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a lot of spray with a little Windex and wipe it off. And now I'll go to sanding lightly with some 500 paper. There it is. Looks pretty good. A little oil to clean it. Got it turned this way so that I can see it. So now some 1500 to finish cleaning it up. And a last piece of 1500. It's clean, just to do the final sanding. All right, time to polish it up. All right, and let's see. I haven't polished the blade yet, but you can see the logo. And that just takes the old buffing compound off of it. And I'm going to redress the buffing wheel. Now this that I'm using here is for steel, and I'm doing it on a drill press because it doesn't, I don't have the same speed as I would out of like a grinder or something, and I don't want that much speed to burn it. And I've already, you want to do this very carefully because you don't want it to get jerked and ruin your knife at this point. But I've already done this once prior to etching the logo, so I'm just going to clean it up just a little bit. And I'm doing it in the angle that I've been sanding. And the next thing I'm going to do is buff out the handle. And I'll apply some wax to the handle. And buff it out. Polished up nicely. Now I'm just going to take some furniture wax and rub it into the knife. And you're actually going to see me rub this on the blade later because it will protect, or if you don't see me, it'll protect the blade from rusting. And when you get a knife like this, you should always oil the blade. And if you ever get any rusting or discoloration, oxidation on the surface, pretty easy to take care of. You just take some 15 to 3000 grit sandpaper and lightly sand it in the direction of the whatever sand is on it to take that off, and then just re-oil it or re-wax it with a like a Minwax, which is what I'm using right now. So Minwax says let this set 5 minutes, so I'm gonna let that set 5 minutes, get it up on something that has less contact, and we will come back. Well, Minwax finishing wax paste. We'll come back and we'll buff it out on the buffing wheel. So my wax is dried and it's cloudy on the surface. If I do this, it starts coming off shine a bit, but I'm going to put it on my buffing wheel and hopefully bring out a really nice mirror finish. I'm dealing with a very sharp knife now that's been polished, and the handle has been oiled, so I want to make sure that I'm wearing gloves, that I don't grab and end up with a bad cut. So that'd be bad here at the end. So I'm just going to lightly polish this and bring out the shine. I don't want to burn the wax, so I don't want to heat it up and do a lot of pressure. I don't know if you can see how the shine is starting to come out in that. Again, not a lot of pressure. A little wax on my blade, that won't hurt anything. I'm just making sure that I clean it out. This thing it has a good feel. It's not too slippery, but it has a really nice shine on it now. Looks like a piece of furniture. So let me do the last step. I've got a little oil and wax on the blade. It's dried. Take a little bit of that oil and just put it on the blade. That is a finish knife. Getting ready to go to Norway to my friend Kai Schmedsrud, and hopefully he will have it for many years and pass it down to a family member who will pass it down, and something like this can last for hundreds of years. So I'm quite excited. I hope that it's something that gets a lot of use. It's got a nice edge on it. I am going to go back and just put a final little sharpen on it, and to make sure it's sharp as can be. It's got a mirror finish on the handle, hardened edge. Got my logo stamped in, full tang. Very good. I think this is going to be a great bushcraft knife or a fishing, camping, hunting knife for Kai. And the next thing to do in the video is certainly to make a beautiful sheath for it. So.